Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. In today's lap time challenge we are going to Belgium. We are on the Circuit de Spa Francorchamps and we are in a car that I've most likely not driven before. It's the Hyundai N 2025 Vision Gran Turismo. At least the car is equipped with racing soft tires, so grip should hopefully not be a big problem. The current world record is set at a 152.5 and that leaves us to beat at least a 155.9. So let's get on track and right into the guide. So getting out of this last corner, you can really early go flat out on the power without having oversteer. The car tends to understeer, you will notice if you're too early. Since it's an EV, you don't have gear changes. So flat out over to the left hand side of the track, and then the 100 board is your first brake marker. Shortly ahead of this one, go hard into the brakes in a straight line, and when turning in, lift the brake pedal, so use trail braking, let the car roll through the corner, and then early as possible flat out without understeering off the track. Now get prepared for Eau Rouge, cause with this high downforce and good grip level of that car, you can go flat out through this one. Cut a lot of the curb on the left hand side, then go to the right hand side over the curb, then cut a lot of the curb on the left hand side again, so basically search for the shortest line through Eau Rouge and take the highest speed possible. Then on the long straight go over to the left hand side of the track, and then the 100 board again is your brake marker. Shortly ahead of this one, brake hard in a straight line, then turn in, use trail braking to get over to this right hand side, but don't hit the posts and not invalidate your lap. Short power input before lifting and rolling through this left hander again. Short power input again, then lifting, letting the car coast through this corner and as early as possible back to the power and use all the width of the track. Now stick to the left hand side of the track, and as soon as you see this curb on the left hand side appearing, this is again your brake marker. Go hard into the brakes and again use trail braking to go into that corner and try to keep a narrow line, so close to the curb on the right hand side. Let the car coast through this corner, and when it opens up, go flat out shortly over to the right hand side, and you see the shadow of the tree on the right. Again on this one, lift the pedal, give it a short brake input and let the car coast through this left hander and as early as possible back to the power. Now go flat out downhill over to the right, and the 50 board is your brake marker. But now you want to brake shortly after the 50 board. So give it a short tap to the brakes, trail braking, let the car coast into the corner and then flat out again, because you can take the rest of this one flat out with this high grip and downforce. Then over to the left hand side of the track, and then your brake marker is when this gantry on top with Circuit de Spa Francorchamps is about to leave your screen. Brake hard again, use trail braking, go narrow into this corner, let the car coast, short power input, and then before going over to the left, just lift again, let the car coast, and then at the exit of this corner, go flat out again, use all the width of the track. Over to the left, shortly ahead of this curb on the left hand side is your brake marker. Give it a short tap to the brakes, then open up the brakes for rotation, let the car coast. I went a bit wide maybe on this one, but then go flat out again. Shortly ahead of the end of the curb on the left, turn in, then aim for this inside post, but don't hit it. Give it a slight lift of the accelerator pedal to not go too wide in this corner, and then flat out again. And now the next few corners is again flat out, so over to the right, keep it narrow in this left hander, then over to the right hand side again for a good entry into this left hander. Flat out, use all the width of the track, and then your very last brake marker is shortly ahead of this white line on the tarmac here. Now hard into the brakes one last time over to the left hand side of the track, then lift the brake pedal, let the car roll over the curb on the right hand side, slight power input, then turn over the curb on the left hand side, and then early as possible back to the power again, not go wide over the finish line, and get yourself a good time. And as usual, let's review this lap once more from chase cam. Getting into your lap, early to the power, then over to the left hand side of the track. Keep it flat out, the very first brake marker will be shortly ahead of the 100 board. Brake hard in a straight line, late turn in, use trail braking, let the car coast through the corner and as early as possible back to the power. For the next section, Eau Rouge, you can stay flat out because you have high downforce and high grip. So cut a lot of the curb on the left, touch the curb on the right, cut a lot of the curb on the left again, and keep it flat out, trying to find the shortest line through this one. Then over to the left hand side of the track, the next brake marker you want to search for is again the 100 board. Shortly ahead of this one, hard into the brakes, use trail braking to go to the inside, let the car coast, short power input, let the car coast again through this left hander, short power input and let the car coast again through this right hander. Short flat out section before going to the brakes shortly ahead of the curb on the left hand side. Use trail braking to keep a narrow line close to the curb on the right hand side before going shortly to the power, and let the shadow on the right, lift again, give it a tap to the brakes, let the car coast and early back to the power. Now flat out downhill over to the right hand side, and shortly after the 50 board give it a tap to the brakes, use trail braking and go flat out again for the rest of this double left hander. Then take the car over to the left hand side of the track, shortly ahead of the gantry, go to the brakes and use straight braking again. Try to keep a high speed through this right hander, short power input before coasting again through this left hander, then flat out at the exit, over to the left, ahead of this curb on the left, hard into the brakes again, let the car coast into this one before going flat out again. At the end of the curb on the left, turn in, try to aim for this post but not hit it, give it a slight lift on the power to not go wide and then keep it flat out again through this next section. Double left-handers again flat out, so now over to the right hand side to get a good entry into the next one. Use all the width and the curb on the right and your last brake marker is this white line on the tarmac. Hard into the brakes, over to the left, then let the car coast over the inside curb on the right as well as on the left. And again early back to the power to make your way to the finish line and get yourself a gold time and 2 million credits. So what are my thoughts on this challenge? Being honest, since it's an EV, you don't have to do gear changes. This might be a negative, but on the positive side you can really focus on your braking and turn-in points, and by that perfect your lap. Somehow I managed to get within the top 100, I was confused and happy at the same time about that fact. What did you experience in this one? Let me know in the comment section. And if this video helped you out, I'd be happy if you drop a like, share the video and subscribe to the channel for future ones. And then I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching again and bye bye.